Welcome to Autism Knows No Borders, a podcast where people connected to autism inspire change and build community. Together with the Global Autism Project, I'm your host, Rachel Harmon, a professional with over a decade of experience in the field of autism services, outreach, and advocacy. For almost 20 years, the Global Autism Project has been providing sustainable clinical, administrative, and leadership training to autism centers around the world seeking guidance. We've also hosted global and regional summits over the last several years, but we were forced to pause these projects during the pandemic. Last July, we were thrilled to get back into the field and host our first ever Latin America Autism Summit in Lima, Peru. We collaborated with our partners from Centro Enigma in Ecuador and our local host sponsors at Centro Ann Sullivan del Peru in order to put together an unforgettable event that inspired connections that will last a lifetime. On the ground, our SkillCorps team worked diligently on a range of tasks for this 3-day summit, from preparing group presentations to fine-tuning logistical details. Our SkillCorps volunteer program is an opportunity for self-advocates, family members, and professionals to travel to our international partner sites and engage with local stakeholders on outreach initiatives specific to their communities. The Latin America Autism Summit is the biggest project a SkillCorps team has taken on so far. In today's episode, you'll hear from our CEO, Molly Pinney, our partner at Centro Enigma, Mafer Chang, the founder of Centro Ann Sullivan del Peru, Dr. Liliana Mayo, a Peruvian self-advocate, Amira Collantes, and a QABA representative from Honduras, Nestor Mercadal. Next week, you'll hear from some of our SkillCorps team members about their personal experiences and takeaways. In this episode, discover what's possible when you make lifelong connections.
My name is Molly Olapini. I'm the founder and CEO of the Global Autism Project.
Welcome back to the show, Molly.
I love being here. Thank you.
So today we're going to talk about our recent Latin America Autism Summit that we hosted in Peru last July.
Yeah, it was so great. I love it.
Yeah. And so this actually, just to give a little bit of background, this wasn't your first time in Peru because we've done some work there in the past, right?
We have. Yeah, I hadn't been there for about a decade though. So it was really great to be back and see some familiar faces, meet some new people. Yeah, it was great.
Great. So why was hosting this Latin America Autism Summit important, just in general for the community?
Yeah, back in 2019, we started hosting these regional summits. We were hosting them with our partners, and then a lot of our listeners know, and some of them were there for the 2019 Global Summit, which was going to be our first annual. And then 2020 came along, so we hadn't done it for a while. And then as we were sort of looking at all that was possible and all of the things and the connections and everything that had happened, and even looking at kind of the residual effects from that event 5 years ago, we said, we should do that again, and we should do it in more concentrated areas where people are geographically closer together, potentially have more in common. And so this was just really important to bring together this part of the world. We've received a lot of inquiries. We've done a lot of work in this part of the world. And just to bring all of those people together under one roof was really important and really amazing. The other thing is a summit is distinct from a conference in a lot of ways. And the biggest one is that it involves parents, caregivers, self-advocates, professionals. So there's a lot of that kind of cross information happening, people learning from people that they don't always get to learn from. So it was exciting on a lot of levels. A lot of people told us it's one of the first events of its kind they've ever been to in their own region. And then also just to have that exchange of information happening.
Mm-hmm. Can you talk a little bit about the structure of the summit and what we did there?
Yeah, it was amazing. So there were several different tracks: global perspective, caregiver support, and practical applications. And then in addition to that, we had somebody who has experience teaching yoga, who was doing some more interactive activities. We had a really special dinner where we actually presented an award to a company in the region. It was Arcos Dorados, or McDonald's, as some of us know it, for adult employment. We had your conversation with Amira, who's a self-advocate. That was absolutely incredible. a very spontaneous last minute ad. As you know, she had seen you and I out and about with our jackets and we started a conversation. So yeah, it was a really unique event in a lot of ways. And again, it allowed for that exchange of information for people from other countries. I remember at one point, everybody was on stage who had come from anywhere, basically. And we were roll calling the countries, and it was really fun. I can't remember exactly how many countries were there, but we truly had global representation in that area. So it's very cool.
Yeah. And one of the biggest goals of the summit, too, along with the exchange of information, was just letting people know that they're not alone in whatever they're doing, whether they are a parent, they have a community of other parents there who understand what they're going through. And same with practitioners who, might sometimes be faced with the right approach to practice. There was a specific presentation about neurodiversity affirming practices. And I think that was so important for us as an organization to also highlight, because some places and some people, some practitioners around the world might not be familiar with some of these concepts.
Yeah.
It was a very open summit. There was no judgment,
Right.
which is, one of our values in a way, like what we do at the Global Autism Project. We're welcoming people from all walks of life and all different backgrounds to just be together and just connect.
Yeah. And to engage with curiosity, right? I think that's something that's really special. That's part of our organization. If you listen to this podcast, you've seen that. That's really something that is important to us. And I think the summit was such a great opportunity for people to get to do that. As you were talking about parents and realizing that they're not alone, I remember walking into one talk in particular, and it was something about caregiver support. It was along that track. And at the end of the presentation, it had turned into parents exchanging information, exchanging numbers, supporting each other. And these, parents who are a little further along in their journey, maybe they have a 6 or 7-year-old and they're talking to people who have a 2 or 3-year-old. So it was really special and really cool. And then, as you know, after this, we've heard about more people connecting. We've been in touch with some of the people who were there. So I think it's one of those things that the way that we curated the event by design was to create connection, to build community, not just to say, oh, hey, I was at that conference too, but to really have the experience of, I was at that conference. I remember that conversation. I remember that experience that we had together. And it's the same thing we did with Global Summit, right? Just to really cultivate and build connection and community. And that, I think, is one of the distinctions of summit versus conference.
Mm-hmm. Right. And so we have plans for future summits. Can you share some of those?
We do. I know. I'm so excited now. So it was funny because we hosted this event, and I think the most common question was, when and where is it going to be next year? When and where is it going to be next year? And we weren't necessarily sure that this was going to be an annual thing, but the demand has said, yes, this should be an annual thing. A lot of people said, oh my gosh, if I'd known about it earlier, I would have had other people come. So we will be back. We are going back to Lima, Peru for the 2025 Latin American Summit as well. In April of 2025, we will be hosting the European Autism Summit in Italy. So very exciting. We have some great people on the ground there that we'll be working with to make that happen. We're just getting some of the final details underway actually this week and next. So we've got some exciting stuff happening. The sponsorship opportunities have opened up. We'll be hosting that one actually in partnership with Behavior Live. So we'll be able to live stream. It'll just streamline all of our processes quite a bit. So we're really excited to work with them for that. But yeah, save the date. Meet us in Italy for sure. Again, not just a conference, a summit. There's a distinction for sure.
Yeah.
And as you know, we're a global organization. We work all over the world. Over the next several years, you're going to see opportunities to join us at these summits truly worldwide. So we're really excited to be finally, after thinking about it 6 years ago, starting it 5 years ago, making it now happen regularly all over the world.
Hi, my name is Maria Chan. I am originally from Ecuador, but at age 15, I immigrated to the United States. In the United States, I did my last 2 years of high school, and fortunately, I was able to study my college degree. I did my bachelor's in human growth and development with a focus on violence and family and special education. And then on my master's degree, I found out this beautiful career of applied behavior analysis. So I went into that career. Afterwards, when I graduated from Siemens College, I went back to Ecuador with the vision that I had my entire life of putting up a school that I had since I was 15, 16. It became a center that helps children with neurodivergencies. In Ecuador, I saw the need of being able to apply all the knowledge that I got from my master's program and bachelor's degree. And little by little, I was building up a community with parents and future therapists. I noticed that I had to train a lot of therapists on ABA or good practices in therapy because here in South America, there's a lot of pseudoscience. In 2014, since we started Enigma until now, we've been taking care of many children under the autism spectrum disorder. We started with one child and giving diagnosis children ages at 5, 6, or 7. Nowadays, in 2024, we are taking care of 56 children overall, and parents are coming to Enigma to get an early diagnosis at ages 1.5, 2 years old, which is a big hit in South America. Nowadays, we're known for a good practice center in Ecuador. And now, in the past year, to complete my professional background, I did another master's programs in neuropsychology of the learning, and which has complemented a lot in all the needs of neurodivergencies, such as attention deficit disorder or dyslexia, dyscalculia, and other conditions. In Enigma, we started doing evaluations and one-on-one ABA services. We are the only center in Ecuador that is able to do an intervention more than 15 hours a week, 8, 10, or 15 hours a week. We have children that does an intervention with 20 and 25 hours a week, involving the parents and the family. Then with time, we decided to build up a transition to school program. So we have a school program, a simulation, a school program that helps children prepare for this school transition. Nowadays, we're attending to children from ages 3 in a school program to 4th graders. And in the meantime, on the sideways, we also have the community of children who have ages 9, 10, or 11, which diagnose is more profound. So for those children, we are applying the Essentials for Living curriculum and vocational curriculum. Now we are moving to mindfulness under the spectrum, doing psychotherapy to families to help them with their transition to this diagnosis. And we're also knocking doors in order for being able to obtain more opportunities or working opportunities with small and big businesses. I've always wanted to put up a school, but I never thought it would be oriented to special ed. A personal experience that I had with a child with autism in the United States when I was working as a nanny, I think that experience plus the need that I saw in Ecuador for the children who have different necessities every time I travel back to Ecuador and visit my family oriented me to pick up this career and oriented me to have this dream of building a place that makes a better world for children who are not being attended and families who are not being attended. So I decided just to put the center because I know I can make a difference. I know I can make a change. I know there's something else that we can do for the families. And I know that the knowledge that I've got in all my life experience and encounters with different people can transmit to others to inspire them and to change people's life. One of the things that I enjoy attending to the American Autism Summit in Lima, Peru, was to see, first of all, to see adults with autism under the Latin America community, since I've only had experience with Americans with autism, and the trip that I did to Kenya with the Global Autism Project. This was the first time that I encountered adults with autism and mothers of adults with autism in the Latin American community. So that really impacted me, and also being able to have a neighbor country to change people's life by finding a way to find a job and teach a vocational skill impressed me. The Latin American Summit, I enjoy sharing with many people around the region, people from Colombia, from Peru, from Argentina, that are sharing the same vision and mission and are going through the same barriers, or cultural barriers, insurance barriers, myth barriers. And so that helped us, or that helped me clear out many ideas and have a hope that we are doing the right thing. Also, the share of knowledge between different people, and seeing that there's no language barrier when you have a passion to share your knowledge. It's also something that I enjoy. Enigma felt very proud. I thought this moment will be farther away. First, we felt proud, and second, we felt very, I'm not sure if the word is glad, or thankful, a lot of gratefulness for being a center that it's been looked up as a center of quality, and being able to have people from other countries to pick you as being a co-host, and having my staff being able to share all the work that we have done, and how all the applications that they do in different cultures in America or Europe, seeing them how they have landed it to our culture, and how it has worked, and how we have been able to do evidence-based applications, and having my staff members sharing that with new people. Actually, I have no words for that. I have no words for that, because it's something that, besides having an enigma, is something that I have dreamed of, being able to be a leader in the campus, being able to do a good practice, best practice, evidence-based practice, not to lose that light of like keeping up the integrity of the child, keeping up the integrity of your staff members, keeping up the integrity of the evidence-based treatments, and keeping up all together, and being able to move into a group of people as a teamwork to share this passion, to share this vision, to share these applications, to share this knowledge to other people from the region, and being able to be picked up as a co-host for this event and looked up as a leader in the campus. It's something that I have no words. It's something that I have dreamed of. It's something that has made me very proud. It's something that has made me very grateful, and it gives me hope to keep on walking and journeying for more in order to grow up in this field as a team. Right now, I think I'm working towards my hope. I'm working on creating a community that does best practice, that pseudoscience can be left aside, that ABA can be a little more recognized and used accordingly with ethics and the integrity that the child or adolescent or adult needs. My hope is to have awareness in my community, in my Ecuadorian community, because if we have more awareness, we will be able to have more access to school system, more access to job opportunities, and access to different places as a leisure activity in a day-to-day basic activities of life. So I think my hope is to have a country that is more aware and able to change the laws in order to have more accessibility to all the people in Ecuador. Again, in Ecuador, I have not met an adult with autism. I'm sure there's a lot of adults and adolescents with autism, that are wanting to make a change, are wanting to have a job, that are wanting to go to college. And because of our myth and the cultural barriers, I have not been able to encounter one. However, this experience of the Latin American Summit has given me that push of open up the doors in order to like find these advocates, autism advocates, and with that family and with them being able to work towards this hope of having more awareness in the community in order to have more accessibility.
My name is Dr. Liliana Mayo, and I'm from Peru. I'm the founder and executive director of Centro and Sullivan del Peru CASP, a pioneering organization that transforms the lives of families with children with autism and other developmental disorders, helping them become independent, productive, and happy. I study at the Universidad Nacional Mayor de San Marcos here in Peru, and later earned my master's and PhD at the University of Kansas in the Department of Applied Behavioral Science. I started CAS 45 years ago after meeting a 5-year-old girl named Patty, who has been diagnosed with autism during my internship as a clinic psychologist in 1975. Witnessing Patty's potential, along with the lack of resources and low expectations that society had for children like her, inspired me to dream of a center where we concentrate more on their abilities and have high expectations of what they can achieve. That's the reason I founded CAS in my parents' garage with just 8 children, because nobody wanted to give me a place to start. Today, CASP educates over 400 students and their families, with more than 50% receiving scholarships. This makes sustainability a significant challenge, and we rely on donations to continue our work. Through the years and living in Peru, we have learned to see challenges as opportunities, and that together, working as a team, we could make the impossible possible. For over 45 years, our team, alongside our principal consultant, Dr. Judy de LeBlanc from the University of Kansas, has worked to create a model that empowers family to be the best teachers for their children, enable them to become valuable members of their families and communities. This model is now being replicated in countries like Argentina, Brazil, and Panama. We have trained students with autism to gain independence, become financial providers, and support their families in developing countries like Peru. We offer comprehensive services, including family education programs, where we empower families to become the best teachers for their children. We train more than 500 families each month in our School of Families, which we believe is one of the largest in the world. We serve students aged 2 to 58 years, equipping them with the skills needed for full inclusion in daily life, including family, community, school, and work. Our school inclusion program facilitates their integration into different regular schools from preschool to high school and some to the university. In our supported employment services, we've successfully included people with autism in real jobs. Our students have become reliable workers, financially supporting their families and even acting as caregivers in time of sickness. We also provide training services for professionals and organizations, both nationally and international, to equip them with the tools needed to fully include people with autism in their communities. I congratulate the Global Autism Project and its leader, Molly Pine, and her team for organizing the Latin American Autism Summit in Peru. One of the highlights of this event was seeing the impact it had on our students and the community. During the summit, I enjoyed a special dinner organized for our self advocate students. It was the first time they were invited to such an event where they could share their experiences with friends from the US and feel very important. Some of them even share their stories in English. Additionally, the special event for CEOs of various international and national business in Peru, where our students work, was a major highlight. It was the first time this CEO could exchange experience about hiring people with autism from our center and discuss the positive impact on their work environments as well as future opportunities for more job placements. Lastly, the award given by the Global Autism Project to Arcos Dorados, McDonald's, for providing job opportunities and career paths for our students make a big impact of the business community. It was the first time that an award of this kind was given, and it sent a powerful message about the importance of inclusion and diversity. Finally, my hope is for the autistic community in Peru to be recognized for their unique strengths and potential. I envision a society where they are fully included in all aspects of life, education, employment, and community activities where they can contribute their talents, as they are doing some of them right now. Through the work at CASP, I am to continue advocating for awareness, inclusion, and respect, ensuring that every person with autism has the opportunity to reach their full potential. Muchas gracias, amigos.
Hey, Rachel here. Are you a professional eager to stay at the forefront of current best practices and expand your services to reach even more families in need? Or maybe you're a parent looking for support from others who understand your needs. Maybe you're a self-advocate wanting to share your story and educate others. Look no further. The European Autism Summit is the event tailored to address these pressing questions and more. Mark your calendar for April 23rd to 25th in 2025 as we gather in Italy, immersed in a dynamic atmosphere buzzing with insightful presentations, invaluable networking opportunities, and hands-on workshops led by industry experts. Join us at the European Autism Summit, where together we'll create unforgettable moments and forge connections that last a lifetime. Details about tickets and sponsorship opportunities can be found in our show notes. And now, back to the episode.
Hello, my name is Amira Collantes and I'm from Lima, Peru. What I enjoyed the most about attending the Latin American Autism Summit was really getting to know all these people that are passionate about advocating for autism and getting to know all their perspective on this subject. And I really think it's important to consider it all the different perspectives to find a common ground that we can all agree on and keep advocating for this that I found really important, not only as a self-advocate, but also as a person that loves to help other people. To me, sharing my experience in the self-advocate panel at the summit was really something I never imagined I'd do. I felt really powerful doing that because I'm kind of an introverted person, and also I don't like that much speaking in public, but I really felt that this was something I needed to do, and I'm happy I did it and that I was able to have dialogue about autism and neurodivergency and just share my experience with everyone. I just think it's really important to reiterate that this is my experience, but all autistic experiences are different. And I really think that having all these people listen to me felt really validating, and I felt really comfortable. And I just think this is an experience that I will treasure for my entire life. So thank you. My hopes for the autistic community in Peru as well as in Latin America are that we continue to advocate for ourselves, but also that the authorities that have the power to help us, and that we are also gaining support from our family and friends, because that's really important towards accepting ourselves as we are, not from a place of self-hate, but self-love. And it also would help in the workspace towards accommodations, because people would be more understanding, and for instance, we would be more productive. So the country would be more productive. And I really think that we as a community can help the others understand what it means to be neurodivergent, and towards the other minorities of society, we can help build acceptance, which I think is really important because, as they say, never judge a book by its cover, right? It's the same with people. And I hope that people that are passionate about this topic and advocates and self advocates continue to advocate for the neurodivergent community, the autistic community, and that we can build a countries, and a world where we can all be appreciated and comfortable in.
Hi, my name is Nestor Mercadal, and I'm from La Ceiba, Honduras. Honduras, it's a country that is located at the center or in the heart of Central America. Honduras is a country that is surrounded a lot by rivers and mountains, and as well, we have great views for the afternoons with the sea. Honduras counts with the second largest coral reef in the world, and it's located at Roatan. I graduated from Unitec, both of my degrees. I have a degree in business management and I have a master's degree in finance. Currently, I'm working for a credentialing board named QABA, and their main goal right now is to help the Latin American community to expand their accreditation to all these regions with their certification programs. They have 3 levels. The first one, it's ABET, that it can be a school degree. The second one, it's a QSPS, that it's a bachelor degree. And the third one, it's the QBA, that it will be a master's degree level. So we count with 3 levels. And our main goal is to prepare more the therapists or the students for them to provide the best qualified applied behavior services. And as well, once you're certified with QBA, I would like to mention that we are accredited by ANSI. ANSI, it's an international accreditation organization that meets the highest standards. So that means that QBA has to pass a lot of tests to be certified by ANSI. And as well, once you get your accreditation from QBA, you know that your credential has the highest level, the highest standards. My role right now in QBA, I'm customer service specialist, but as well, I'm making outreach trips all around Latin America to see how the services or the therapies are provided and how we can help the Latin American community for them to provide the best services right now. Because in my experience, what I've been looking in Central America and part of South America is that we need these accreditations for us to provide a better service, since we have a lack on our health system. And as well, when we get accredited, we know that we're going to be doing our job in a better way. So I encourage the Latin American community for them to look up for QBA, since we provide scholarships for the ABET with the help of our coursework providers for them to be able to apply for one of our certifications. So don't lose your time. What I enjoyed the most of the Latin America Autism Summit in Peru, it was connecting with all type of certified people all around the world. The connections that I made with them, talking to them, hearing about their experiences, taking a look to their investigations, their studies, and looking at the presentations, how each of them provide high quality services for autism in different ways. That was the most amazing part. And as well, the experiences that the people from Peru shared with us that they have some successful kids with autism that are independent and working on their own with big companies over there in Peru. That was very impressive, and how they now are independent. They live alone in a house and they are not scared to say, I have autism. So it was a great experience. And of course, I would love to participate in the next Global Autism Summit. My hopes in Honduras is that the health system take a look to the therapies that people are providing over here, the psychologists and the psychiatrists, for them to be certified and to know that they're going to be providing the best therapies to the kids, since we have a lot of situations going on right now here in Honduras. But the health system, for me, it's the priority part to have it on the highest level. So I would like to encourage Global Autism to reach out to the Minister of Health here in Honduras to talk about the certification program that they have, and as well make like a small unit with QEBA to certify their staff members or their therapists or psychologists, and as well certify the center so that the people here in Honduras know that they're taking their kids to the best organizations or centers for their kids that had autism, since this is a spectrum that has increased a lot during the time. And here in Honduras, sadly, we don't have like the tools to diagnose autism or to treat autism. So my hopes it's for Global Autism to reach out to the Ministry of Health and mention about the importance to certify or to the therapies to pass by an exam, so that way we know, or the community of Honduras know, that they're receiving a high quality therapy or service.
Thanks for tuning in to Autism Knows No Borders. If you're an autistic self-advocate, family member, or professional wanting to change the local beliefs and understanding about autism, join us in Italy next April at the European Autism Summit. You can learn more about this event in our show notes. Thanks for listening. Take care.